Hello, Pick a Side Nation. This is James Finley, your host for the Pick a Side podcast. We are coming to you from the lab. Today we have a great show. We have 4 interviews that we are having today. And we're going to start off with Sylvia Brooks Griffin. Then we will have Raquel Watts. Then after that, we'll have Dr. James Gray. And we'll finish off with Charnay Tunson. These 4 lovely ladies are going to be running for the LACCD seat. And we hope that you will be able to get out and vote on November 3rd or sooner for all 4 of these ladies. We are hoping to make serious changes in the Los Angeles Community College District. Sit back, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, this is James Finley again with the Pick a Side podcast. Pick a Side Nation, we have Miss Raquel Watts in the lab with us. Not only that, she is the second leg of this dynamic relay team that they have going on over at LACCD. We just had the opportunity to interview Sylvia, who took the baton and started this thing off. So now it's been handed over to Raquel to talk about the seat that she's going to be running for coming up in November. So Raquel, welcome to the lab. Thank you for being a part of this. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. I'm very excited to be on the program with you, Mr. Finlay. I think you got something going on. I love the Pick a Side. I think that's an awesome title. So I'm excited.
I certainly appreciate that. You know, there's a whole lot to go with the name and choosing all of that. But it is my pleasure to have you guys on when it was brought to my attention about what you guys were doing. I had to get myself educated as to what you all were doing. And then after I've gotten myself educated, now I feel like I'm stuck in it, but stuck in a good way, because now it's like I want to be a part of what you guys are doing, because I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm on the battlefield with you guys now with this.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Let's start off and let's let the Pick a Side Nation know kind of what your background is, what you've been doing, and what you're doing now.
Well, right now, my background is in workers' compensation litigation. And I, for the first 20 years of my career, even though, of course, I know I don't look that like I've been working for 30 years. But the first 20 years, I worked on the corporate side, and I represented like AT&T, AIG, and some of those big corporations that I worked for. But then I saw the light, and I came to do God's work. And so now I represent the employees, the injured workers, who are basically underserved, and they're out there and they need assistance. And so, you know, I've been in the fight with them for the last 5 years, and I represent them. And I realize, you know, there's just so many inequities. There's so many things out there that we just are not getting a fair shake from. That's right. I just started to look at, you know, what are you doing, Raquel? You know, what are you doing to be a part of the solution? And right. So actually running for the LACCD seat number 7 is a part of me being a part of the solution.
Yeah. And so, matter of fact, I'm so glad you told me what your little background is, because when this podcast is over, I need to speak to you about something. So the seat that you're running for, seat number 7, the incumbent, I believe his name is Mike Fong, if I'm not mistaken, or something of that nature. So as I was looking at his information, he's been on the board since 2015, and you know, he had nice credentials that's next to his name and this and that. So seat number 7, what type of impact will this seat have for the district, you know, in your opinion?
So all the seats have equal impact. Mr. Fong, and I don't really have anything negative to say about Mr. Fong. He seems to be quite a nice guy. But the challenge is that I don't think he was necessarily elected to the position when he came on in 2015. I believe he actually was appointed to the position. And then since then, I believe he may have been. I guess this would probably be the first election that he's been in,
Yeah.
if I'm correct. But the bottom
Mhm.
line is, and I wanted to say all that is that it's not so much that you can point at some of the bad things that people do, but sometimes there's just a time for change. And I
Yeah.
think in this season we see it more than ever. It's a time for change. And
Yeah.
the things that are happening, that have been happening just because they can happen, and are not being tolerable and are not being effective. And so
Right.
you have a board where you don't have one African American board member in 2020, and then you
Mm.
have a school that has over 250,000 students, but you have less than 9% are African American in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so something's wrong with that. And no matter how nice you are, and no matter how many things you've done, you may not be effective for the future of the board. I mean,
Right.
sometimes
Right.
you're there for a season, sometimes you're there for a reason, and sometimes you're there because you make a difference for a lifetime. And people need to figure out where they are on that spectrum. I really
That's
feel. Go
man.
ahead.
That is so. I love the answer that you gave with that. As I was talking to Sylvia earlier, uh, 2020 has been a year like no other in my lifetime. I cannot think of another year in my life that has been like this one. And I've been in earthquakes and all that, but 2020 has been just an unreal year. And so, with that being said, I believe that with all of the heartache and all of the tragedies and all the misfortunes that has happened in 2020, but I also think that 2020 is a year for the Black woman. And I believe that this is the year where Black women will evolve into something that we've never seen before. And not only is November 3rd a big day for Americans across the board, because we have an opportunity to go down there and punch that ballot to get this one particular person out of the office. We also have an opportunity to put four dynamic women into an office that a lot of people don't know about, which is the LACCD, and you're a part of that four women that's on that ballot. So, what would be the glaring difference between you and the other candidates that you're running against?
So I think what it is exactly what you said. We are a grassroots slate. We are for women who are rising to the call, not because we're being funded by unions, not because we have $1 million to give to a campaign, not because we have some corporate body backing us and telling us what we need to do for them, but because we realize we're like, we're rising to the call because we realize that not only are the students calling us to help them, but the fact that there are people who are living with food insecurities or living with housing insecurities, these people are calling us. It's like you said, it's a year of the Black woman, because if you historically, if you look at Black women, we have always been the caretakers. We have
Yeah,
always been the mothers who go out there and do what we can do. We multitask. We do things tirelessly. We fight for the unrepresented. We fight for those people who can't speak for themselves. And so I think we're rising up because we realize that we need to do this now.
mhm,
2020 is a year of, like 2020, the newscast. 2020 is a year of clear vision. We're
yeah,
seeing all the things that have been undercover. They're all coming to the
oh,
surface,
man,
and we can't deny it. We cannot deny it anymore. It is time that we get involved. And so I think what we're finding, which, to go back to your question, is the difference between us and the candidates now is that we are not being bought by big money corporations.
Right.
We are just regular people like you and like the students and like the staff people who want to see change. The good
Yeah.
thing about us is that we have a cultural experience that helps us understand maybe the disparity in the African American student population. Maybe we
Yeah.
can understand from our background what food and housing insecurities like, or
Yeah.
what it's like to be policed and to be, subject to that type of interaction. So
Yeah.
maybe our experiences will separate us and make us different from a lot of the candidates. And then our heart
Fantastic.
and our willingness to represent the people.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, Raquel, so at what point did you decide that, I want to run for this seat, and what was your reason behind it?
So I made the decision now probably maybe about 6 months ago. And like I said, it was just the climate. There's so many things going on. I actually went to USC. So I actually went to a 4-year university, but I
Hmm.
remember my mother going to community college at LACC, and my
Yeah.
mother was gifted. She graduated from Dorsey, very bright,
Yeah.
could have become a doctor. And that's just how bright she was, but she
Mhm.
went and got a business degree through LACC and didn't go to a 4-year college because there was no one there to mentor her, to encourage her, to show her the way. And so there is a big issue with retention and as well as recruitment. And so these are things that really need attention as well, because why aren't we getting the students that we need to get, and why aren't they completing the program?
Yeah.
So those things made me think, you know what? I think this is a time for me to get involved. It's definitely the climate with Black Lives Matter and all the things going on from a racial and ethnic perspective, and then just my own history with education. I realized that getting involved now is probably a good season.
I'm so I'm almost embarrassed because as a product of me being once into the system of West LA, I went to West LA Junior
Very
College,
good school.
and so after, but I'm so uneducated when it came down to what LACCD did. And as I was telling Sylvia, I had to, when I found out that I was going to be doing this, I'm one of these people, I always want to be prepared. So I had to dig down in the trenches and start reading about a lot of this stuff. I started reading about you guys. I started reading about, the candidates that you guys, the incumbents of who you guys are trying to unseat and things of this nature. And I would bet that if you were to ask the average Joe
Yes.
Blow walking down the street, what does LACCD stand for? A lot of them are going to say LA Unified School District. They're just going to
Right.
figure,
Right.
but the average person is not going to know what LACCD is. And so I believe that right now, regardless of whichever decision goes, in November, at least the four of you all are bringing attention to what this is all about. Because I always like to, kind of tap myself on the shoulder. Yeah, I know about that. I know about that. I had no knowledge about it. I had no
Right.
knowledge that's what that stood for. So in every election that we have,
Hmm.
there's some good, there's some bad that comes with it. So is this the first time that you ever would have run for any type of position election?
Yeah, I feel, when I think back to when I was in high school and stuff, and I used to run for little things back there, and then I've always
Yeah.
been, so I don't know, but I've always been involved in some type of leadership. And
Mhm.
and I always feel that, sometimes God kind of guides you and steers you and has you involved in different things to give you strengths and give you gifts and give you talents for future, purpose. So I believe that it's just the season, it's just the purpose, it's the time for me to get involved with this.
Mhm.
Um, so just to answer your question, I haven't been involved in anything political of this nature before.
Right.
This is my first time, which I
Yeah.
like because I'm not a what they call a career politician. So therefore,
Right.
I'm not jilted, and I and
Right.
I and I
Right.
have a very clear a very wide open view of what's going on, and I'm not, being influenced by any group. So I think
Yeah.
it's good. Sometimes bringing a fresh perspective to a
Oh,
board helps.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, are you mentally prepared for some of the criticisms that may come your way that happens during the process, during running for a particular position?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
Bring
Good.
it on. The thing about it is, one thing about us culturally and historically is that we're good, and we understand what
Oh
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
to fight.
Ready?
We
Tough.
understand what
That's right.
yeah, we're very tough.
Yeah.
So
That's that.
I'm absolutely fine, and something that I have convictions for, and something that I feel very, very comfortable in representing, and that is the students as well as the staff at LACCD. I'm all in. I'm good.
That's great. That's great. As I was mentioning earlier, I did go to West LA for a semester, and I had a really good experience of going there. Then I transferred on over to CSUN, uh, where I was able to attend.
Very good.
Now, what was why don't you tell me about the advantage of attending a JC opposed to going straight into a 4 year setting right out of high school?
Yeah, so the good thing about going to a JC, it answers a couple things. Sometimes it's the fact that it's the tuition costs. You can do your GEs, as they say, the first 2 years of your college experience, and you can save a lot of money. Now, when I went to USC, it was like 30,000 a year, and now I look at
Absolutely.
tuition is almost 90. I mean,
Mm.
that's, a year, and you can get your general education done for at LACCD for less than $1,000 a year. And if you hadn't gone to college at all, you can participate in LA Promise, and that's 2 years free. So
Mm.
it would be smart economically to do it. The other reason is some people are not ready to make that jump from high school to a 4 year college because they feel that they'll get lost. They don't feel like they have the support of the teachers because it's so large. So
Yeah.
LACCD would give them an opportunity in a more small, intimate environment to kind of get used to what college life is about. That's
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
good reason. And then the third reason is sometimes people don't want to leave town. I mean, you have to be accepted to a 4 year college,
That's
and
right.
depending on
That's
where
right.
you're accepted, you may have to leave. You may have to leave out of California or Los Angeles and go to another place. And some people are not yet ready to leave their families. And then you have to be accepted, and sometimes 4 year universities have requirements that people can't reach because maybe in high school they didn't take everything seriously, but
Yeah.
they're ready to be serious now. So it's a
Right.
bridge. It's a great bridge, and it's a bridge that a lot of people should consider.
Yeah. And you just said something, that a lot of freshmen that are going coming out of high school that go to junior college, you have some that can't they can't go to a 4 year because of financial difficulties. Then you have some that don't have the grades to attend. Uh, so for that individual that has the grades to attend a junior college, and this person, let's just say this person has been making the grades throughout high school and had the misfortune of not getting any type of academic scholarship or anything of that nature. So, and if their family just can't get her into school, so you would highly recommend a JC in terms of starting that avenue, getting on that avenue to continue their education.
Absolutely. And like I said, the LA Promise thing, that is golden. The fact that a lot of our students don't know about that. I mean, if you come out of high school, you've never been in college, or maybe you've been out of high school for some years, but you've never gone to college. The promise is that they give you the first 2 years free, absolutely
Hmm.
free. So how can you pass that up? It should be a rite of passage from high school to LACCD district to be able to go to college and to at least get a trade going, get your GEs knocked out. Because sometimes another reason why people wait and decide to go to community college is because they don't know what they want to do. So you go 4 years into a university and waste your parents' money not knowing what you want to do. You can use the junior college as an opportunity to explore some things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's great.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now that you're involved in all of this, how do you feel that our junior colleges, and we have so many out here in Southern California, so do you feel that they have enough money, enough resources to make the experiences of a student going there for 2 years something that they would be able to thrive from?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's, I mean, they have a five. Well, this is money that they got through an election and through a bond, but they have like a $5 million project going on just to renovate the school, and they have a lot of different programs and different funding and grants that they're using to make sure that the students have what they need. And of course, if you know, I become a part of the board of trustees, and also the wonderful ladies in the slate with me, along with me, we'll make sure that anything that we can do from a financial perspective to get more money to support the students, we will do. I mean, because it's
That's great.
all about, see, I have this quote that I love, and it says, if you do not know the purpose of something, you will inevitably abuse it.
Mm,
And I think
mm,
when you see abuse, it's
mm.
because that entity or that organization or that person has forgotten the purpose.
Go back.
Okay.
So let's go back to the question. So the question is, how do you feel in regards to the um, the curriculum for junior colleges? How do you feel that curriculum is going?
So the curriculum, the curriculum's going. There's always questions
Mhm.
about the curriculum. I know at LACCD, some of the concerns with the curriculum is that, like for instance, the drama students, they were. I saw something where they were complaining that they're doing a lot of European drama, and they wondered, when are they going to do some more multicultural drama projects, and are they, they're doing Shakespeare, but can they do some I'm trying to think of something African American, but Richard Wright, they want to be able to do
Yeah,
things that give them a little bit more cultural perspective, so that everyone can share in and learn about the different cultures. So I would imagine the curriculum is awesome. I mean, from a general
yeah,
education standpoint, but I
yeah,
think that the cultural influences that we have in Los Angeles should be reflected in the curriculum, because this is, I mean, it's like New York. I mean, where do you get all the cultures in one place? Why not take advantage of it?
yeah, yeah. That's great. That's great. So, in your opinion, so if you have a student that is going to a junior college for 2 years, and that student gets their AA degree, and if they say to themselves, you know what, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to go to school no more. I have my AA degree. So how far do you think having an AA degree will take you in the day's workforce that we have right now?
So, this is how I look at it. I think that if you have an AA degree, you're probably going to just have to do a little bit more in with your work experience.
Hmm.
So, whereas a BA is kind of like the standard thing that corporations like to see to stamp
Yeah.
you as approved.
Right.
They always, if you see on the job applications, they always say if you can supplement with work experience, then we will
Hmm.
consider you. So I think
Yeah.
if you have an AA degree, you're probably just going to have to get into a job, and it may be an entry level job, and work there for about 2 to 4 years, and
Right.
then get into the position you really want to get into, because you would have to show them that you have the ability to compete with those people who have the bachelor's. But I don't
Yeah.
think it's impossible, and I definitely think it's an added bonus compared to just coming into with a high school degree or
Absolutely.
diploma.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen. Godly, I am so proud to be a part of this, because not only did I have one great interview, but now I've had two great interviews with the knowledge and understanding that you guys have with the system, with the district for community colleges is just unbelievable. And so here's the opportunity for you to be able to, put a little flowers on yourself. So tell us in your own words, which makes you the best candidate for seat number 7. Is it number 7? Again?
Yes, it's seat number 7,
All
and
right.
I
So
just want to clear up.
what makes you the best candidate for that seat?
Okay, and I see number 7. I wanted to clear up something. So it's Los Angeles Community College District. So if anybody wanted
Mhm.
to know what LACCD is, it's
Right.
9 community colleges in Los Angeles County, 250,000 students, and it is a huge budget. So it's a pretty big deal. But like I said, first of all, I think that I am very capable of fighting for the underserved. I do it every day, and I do it well. And the reason why I do it well is because I come from the heart and I fight for everyone like they're in my family. I feel like it's better when you put that in your head, because then you realize that everybody is really like you,
Yeah.
and everyone wants the same things. They want ability to be able to live, to be able to compete, to be able to be educated. And so I don't have a problem understanding what it's like to be underrepresented, and I feel like I will be a champion for the underrepresented. Also, because of my background in terms of leadership, I understand what it's like to lead. I understand what it's like to lead a very large budget. I understand what it's like to be able to negotiate amongst the other board members to be able to get the best solution for the district. And so all of these things and all of the sum total of my experiences to date will go to help me be effective in that position. And I'm an Angelino, and I've been an Angelino since I was born. So I
That
have
is.
Los Angeles at the heart of in my heart, and I'm a woman of integrity, and that's important.
Listen, I can't. You put it in better words than anybody could ever speak on your behalf. As I told Sylvia, listen, I'm part of this with you guys now, and on November the 3rd, I know that you guys not going to be on top of the ballot. I know that you guys will be probably towards the end. There will be some people that'll just start punching in names because they just tired of standing up there for so long, and they've pretty much done what they want to do on page 1 and 2. However, I will be pushing for those individuals who get tired of standing. Hey, listen, there's a whole lot more work to be done
Yes,
on this ballot,
yes,
and we want to make sure that we can get these four wonderful sisters in these seats, because as I was looking and doing my research on there was no people of color that represented the LACCD. So I definitely am going to do my part to help you guys out to do that. So if there's anything that you guys need on my behalf, please let me know. So Raquel, why don't you tell everybody where they can kind of find you and the others
yes.
on social media?
Yes, and I tell you, like Mr. Finlay say, we have a wonderful slate of 4 very, very sharp progressive women. And you can find us at justice for the number 4 laccd.com. And one other thing I would say is that, our the incumbents, they have the union backing them with $1 million, going into their campaigns. We're
Yep.
grassroots. We don't have any of that funding. So
All right.
we're looking for any donations that you can give us to support us so that we can continue our marketing efforts. You go to Justice for LACCD, just hit the donate button. $5, $10, anything can be used towards our campaign, and we appreciate it. Again, November 3rd is the date to officially vote, but I believe the mail-in ballots will be coming out. The bottom of the ballot is probably the most important to the people of the community, because the president position is going to be decided, right? But
Yeah.
after
Right.
that, the positions that affect you the most are at the
Yeah,
bottom
low.
of the
That's
ballot,
right.
whether
That's
you
right.
know it or
That's
not. Your
right. That's
kids,
right.
it's gonna affect. So pay attention, get to that bottom, look for our names, and I'm sure you'll post something with all of our names. But Watts is my name. It's easy to remember because it's the city here in Los Angeles,
There you go.
seat number 7.
There you go. So listen, thank you so very much for being a part of this today. When we end here, I'm gonna ask that you stay. Don't leave the studio just yet as we end. However, I want to let everyone know that, as I told Sylvia, if you guys want to get additional information on my website, which is www.pickaside.org, I put everyone's picture and bios up there, as well as their social media sites, so you guys will be able to go on there and take a look at that as well. But please, let's not let's not take this for granted. Let's go out and vote, and let's vote. Let's do our part to get these people in these seats locally. As she stated earlier, yeah, we voting for a new president. And I show anyway, yeah, but we vote
Right.
for a new president, hopefully. But locally is where it affects us the most. And just because we've gotten our degrees and all that, that doesn't mean that we cannot still look out for those that are coming up behind us. So listen, thank you so much for being a part of this. And as I always say at the end of all of my shows, keep God first place in your life, and I will promise you He will take you places that you never dreamed of. Thank you so very much.
Amen.
And have a good
Amen.
day. All right, take care.